미들었어.
Good evening, and welcome to this week's London by Gaslight, a late Victorian age vampire the Masquerade chronicle set in 1892. Continuing in the night is Eveline, the daughter of Cacophony, betrayed by Miss Hutz. You'll be doing a rouse check later. Nice mugs. Nice cup. If only it were possible to do Hedgegoth-themed thongs.
I can do those.
Yeah. We should just have on the back, like a little slag tag, Kalo. Hello, Takiroshi. Takirosh. Apologies. Aldrich, of the clan of Shapers, betrayed by Bully from Tablegoth. You'll be doing a rouse check later to waken from your torpor slumber. Thirsty Boy of Nosferatu, for the time being, betrayed by Nitro Taipat. You'll also be doing a rouse check later. And last but not least, Inspector Grey from the clan of the Hunt, betrayed by Nosgavian. You'll be doing a rouse check later. We begin this week, carrying on from the previous week, with various members of the coterie in dire peril inside an abandoned office building on one of London's docks. We begin with Aldrich and Eveline. Eveline has been the victim of a strange oblivion-based power that caused her to fall through her own shadow and materialize in the caster's own, causing her to succumb to a fury frenzy. Employing the power now may be something the kindred comes to regret, as he stares at the furious visage of Eveline, while his companion stands between the pair and Aldrich. What would you like to do, Eveline?
Stabby, stabby.
Okay. Strength?
That's dexterity,
no, dexterity
and melee, right?
Melee. He's going to dodge. And that is +4 in total from your scissors, because they do bonus
Oh, that's right.
to kindred.
Yeah. That's 6 total, right?
Yes.
But me in a frenzy.
Eveline charges forth, a look of righteous fury in her eyes, and stabs the kindred straight in his neck, causing blood to seep out of the wound and pour down his body. Aldrich, what would you like to do?
How many are in this area again?
There is just 2 in total.
Including the one being stabbed?
Including the one being stabbed, and one is
okay.
foolishly standing between you and Eveline.
Don't want to go all out just this once. I'm going to look at him and tell him to kneel and do not rise until I tell him to do so. A little bit of mesmerization, aka submerge directive.
Show me mesmerize, please.
Really rousing too.
Oh, he's not going to do very well on this.
Hungry, beautiful. Enough?
Little bit. The man stands there for a brief moment, mulling over your words, and tilts his head, similar to a dog, and falls to his knees, looking straight down at the floor.
I will then be, I won't do anything, but my intentions are, everyone will be able to see me. I'm rushing towards her to help with double team this guy.
Lovely. Thurston is sat, restrained in a wooden chair, as the mysterious man known only as Blank confronts Thurston, attempting to completely wipe away every single part of his memory. Mechanically, Thurston, this Cainite needs a total of 10 successes against you to successfully mind wipe you. As of right now, he has 2. Mr. Blank turns to Thurston and says, "Mr. Thurston, you are surprisingly resilient. Most people are already pleading with me to stop, not even knowing why or what I am doing to them. Indeed, mortals are so fragile, such fragile creatures, yet so important to us. All of us, aren't they? Tell me, we've all had accidents happen, or strange results of a feed happen over the years. Mine was a man in the prime of his life. He was easy to lure away. Just a promise of money, an easy manual labor job. As soon as we were isolated and free of prying eyes, I sank my fangs into his flesh and drank. Not all that deep at first, but then the thought struck me, why not drain him dry? He is just a mortal, only to live for a short time on this world, not like us, the true apex predators. Their purpose is to give us sustenance. Our purpose is to rule them. So I drained him, every single drop. His body fell to the ground in a pile. And do you know what I felt, Thurston?
Emptiness, nothingness.
Nothing. I felt nothing. This man's life was ended by my hand, my teeth. And there was nothing. No sudden change, no inner monster taking over. And so I repeated the process over and over again. Perhaps maybe in time what you may call my humanity has ebbed away. But I am still a Cainite. Perhaps a more pure Cainite than most because of this. Now you, Thurston, tell me, what is your most influential feed?
I mean, I've had many like what you described. It's not really new for our group, to be honest, but I can't really say I have an influential feed. No, I don't think I do at all.
You've never killed during feeding?
Oh, many times. I do remember some of them. There was a police officer that was letting us into an area to investigate, and I slipped up and decided to eat him.
And what did you feel?
Do you know that feeling when you spend a night with a lover of some kind and wake up the next day and realize this wasn't exactly what you wanted?
No.
A little bit like that.
But why don't you ever give in more often?
Well, because it's unsightly. You could end up in trouble or killing the wrong
trouble
person.
with whom?
The Camarilla.
What is the point of that? What is the point of the Camarilla? Why should we deny our own existence, our place at the top of the food chain?
Well, because once one thing ends up outing itself as the apex predator on this planet we call home, something else much bigger and scarier usually rears its head. The Camarilla keeps that from happening.
Typical Camarilla propaganda. But I look upon you. I can see that you've eaten more than just mortals in your time.
Oh, yes. It was sanctioned, though. I was allowed to.
Sanctioned. It is our right. It is the way of nature. The strong eat the weak, and only the strong survive. How did it feel, consuming the soul of those weaker than you? There's no rush like it, is there?
Well, it was a little bit of a rush, but that was more so because I succeeded. Other than that, I don't believe there's been much to come of it, so I don't really see the point.
Once you taste the soul of another Cainite, it's hard to let go. There's nothing more fulfilling. It is the most thrilling experience our kind can ever endure. Better than anything mortals have. Better than orgasm. Better than drugs. Better than anything. I'm sat here thinking what's better than sex and drugs, and it's like,
It was a little bit better than some of those drugs that you speak of, but I was never one to partake, so...
And do you believe that you may do this again? I believe.
Well, I only really sought it out and did it because I was asked to have done it. So, if someone were to ask me again, then maybe. But otherwise, I'm pretty
What is this
satiated.
ask? Don't you realize what you are? You are an immortal. You are a god among sheep.
You've clearly never come across some of the things we've experienced, then. I've come so close many times to the end of my own life. Have you?
Many times. And every time I have come out of it stronger. And if you... Look at you, you are still here. You are sat here talking to me. Don't you feel stronger for that? You have defeated these enemies in your path. Don't you see what you are? Why don't you give in? Let the beast take you over. There are things far stronger than anything you've experienced so far, and we fight them. The Camarilla denies their existence.
Well, I do not know what you speak of, but I do know that I did not defeat the things that almost killed me. My coterie members did. I merely survived them. So clearly, while you have been experiencing this unlife alone getting stronger, it certainly has not humbled you.
Why have you not thought about consuming your coterie?
Because they're useful. You do not instantly break a tool just for the satisfaction of its destruction, only to no longer have it.
Why don't you assimilate the tool into yourself? Gain their strengths for yourself. Seize power.
Now, Eldrick might be able to do that. I don't think I could do that.
Start with the strongest and work your way down. Consume this Aldrich. No offense.
I don't know, I've kind of grown to appreciate his existence. And in his continued existence, I also get to appreciate mine.
We are to never die. None of our kind has ever died of old age. Especially in your
Expect not.
weak Camarilla. It is all politics, backstabbing. You could just consume him.
But then I have to cover it up, and I have to lie about it, and it's just all continued backstabbery, isn't it?
Only if you exist in the Camarilla still. The Camarilla is designed to keep you down, to keep you at the bottom of their so-called ladder. We don't believe in such things. The strong
Yes.
survive.
You have such a detailed understanding of outside the Camarilla, but I don't think you understand that once you are entered into it, it's not so easy just to leave.
Why not? You just walk away.
Because even through all that backstabbing and treachery, there are still very powerful people with very powerful people that they also know that can track you down and find you. Leaving the Camarilla is just a long, drawn-out suicide.
Is that what you really believe? What they tell you to believe?
That's what I truly believe.
Then you are beyond hope. It's a long-ass way to say... some roll for me. Composure and resolve, please. I'm re-rolling. 3. Would you like to purchase a timeshare?
Got you in this chair to talk about your car's extended warranty.
I don't even own a car.
Meanwhile, in another part of the building, Nara and Inspector Grey are confronted by two almost feral-like creatures as two more of their companions look on, laughing almost, with what looks like a dead human at their feet. As the pair of monstrous vampires advance on Grey and Nara, taunting them. Little pigs, broken into our house, little pigs. And hopefully, get round to it. We'll start with Inspector Grey.
I believe you're mistaken. It's the wolf who breaks into the piglets' houses. And I will attack with a throwing knife. Ooh, and actually, I will also, before I attack, I'm going to rouse the blood for Scorpion's Touch for next round.
Yes, absolutely. Rouse check for me, please. Wonderful. Gain that hunger.
Okay.
And do
And then
dexterity
I
and
will
athletics.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. So that's +2 from the throwing knives, isn't it?
Yes.
Inspector Gray reaches into his trusty inside pocket and, without missing a beat, skillfully throws a knife out of nowhere, watching as the blade glistens under the moonlight and swiftly impacts upon the feral monster's chest, embedding itself deep inside between his bones. I know what Nara wants to do, so let me just pull up her sheet. Fate Morgana, not a browse check?
Is it worded towards just a better version of the lower one that requires a rouse check?
Surely it must. Yeah, I'm going to give her a rouse check just to be sure. Oh, I'm sorry, Nara. And she wants to do... Okay. Nara stands next to Inspector Gray. Her milky white eyes gloss over. She starts spinning her hands and arms in the air in mystical manner and ways, akin to magician of ancient lore. And slowly, more and more copies of Nara appear to emanate from herself. I'm going to say that she has 2 copies. That gives us 2. And they're going to be able to do senses of sight, touch. So they can be seen and they can do the touching. Which brings us back around to Eveline and Aldrich. It is the Sabat's turn. Find the right sheet. There. The Sabat that is currently engaged in close combat with Eveline, although heavily wounded, is going to strike her with his fist and hope for the best. How would you like to respond, Eveline?
Udge.
Dexterity athletics. Very nice. The Spat lumbers forward unsteadily, blood still dripping from the open wound upon his neck, and groggily misses Eveline, who manages to dodge out of the way and bares her fangs, with the blood spilling out of the massive wound upon his neck. He doesn't get a go because you've managed to incapacitate him. So we'll go back round to Eveline.
It's gonna stab him again.
Dexterity and melee. And he's not in the right frame of mind, so he's going to attempt to strike you back.
Ooh. Oh.
Fails miserably.
Okay.
I think in the interest of spiciness, that's going to be a killing blow.
Yeah.
Eveline plunges the blade straight into the man's neck once more, into the already open wound, stretches it out, tearing his skin and nearly decapitating him. The man gives a look of complete terror to Eveline and stumbles forward, falling to the floor and turning to ash that spills out upon the wooden floor.
Am I still in a frenzy?
Need to do a frenzy check for me, please. At difficulty... I think we're going to make that difficulty 3 because I'm feeling generous. Very nice. And the beast that is screaming inside of your skull slowly subsides, puts you at ease. Although still in danger, you are no longer controlled by that dark shadow inside of you.
I hum the song in my head.
Aldrich.
Aldrich approached, rolling up the sleeve to his good hand. By the time he gets it done, this guy's decapitated. All right. Good work
made
there.
me mad.
Billy. Right, now, got what he deserved. I am worried about the others, though. Obviously, the most capable of us are in this room, which means the rest are left to their own devices. If you could sort of just not actually touch your lips, but sort of put the finger and then just sort of listen with my heightened senses to see if I can hear where the others might be.
I stop humming for just a moment.
You can hear a conversation and the name Thurston coming from directly below you.
Perfect.
You're not hulked out, are you?
No.
Okay.
I'd be able to go through the floor?
That's part of why I was asking.
Or would I need to be hulked out for that?
In theory, you could go through the floor. It'll be down to the dice, of course.
Right. Yeah, if I think I'm capable of, like, if it's an old, decrepit building, I think I'm capable of doing it at my current normal beefiness. You're just gonna keep rolling up, get his sort of extra calloused hammer fists, and just go to try to pound on the floor and go straight through.
Strength, roll for me, please.
And I, use my heel to keep going in the same spot, too, to assist him.
Actually,
plus one
just
modifier.
For the sake of it, we are going to Hulk out.
Oh, okay.
Because I assume there's going to be we're going to have to Hulk out eventually. Might as well do it now. So I'm going to do that. Which is a rouse. Good. This. Wait, do I need to roll that? Let's roll dice. No, I don't need to roll for it. Okay, so yes, I will Hulk out, and then with all four my beefy boy hands, will just go to.
I'll still keep stomping on it like I'm trying to.
I think
my tiny little heel.
And I'm
smashing
helping.
The floor is going to be an automatic success. And given it, you're basically the size of Super Shredder at this point. And the floor.
Can I, with heightened senses, do it? Can I hear enough to try to do it like on top of where I hear this voice?
As close as you can tell.
Or would it be a roll to pinpoint that? Or he might not be talking loud enough. I don't know. But if possible, I'm going to try to listen, and wherever the voice is, try to get on top of that spot. And
wits and awareness
smash.
For me, please. It will be quite difficult to get it exact, I think.
We're going to rouse. Cannot get hungry tonight. Let's see if we get super lucky. Crits can happen. Nah, we're missing. But that's fine. It's a cool entrance either way.
Aldrich smashes the floor from underneath him. alongside Eveline, who is daintily kicking the floorboards, and they fall straight through. First of all, both of you, dexterity and athletics.
I'm so glad it's dexterity that I buffed. Oh god, no.
This is why you don't say things before you roll.
Eveline just barely manages to land on her feet, although she lacks her usual grace in doing so. Aldrich, however, falls straight through, flat on his face, and mumbles something about me, Aldrich, want to munch better.
Hey, Aldrich.
I'm like
Eveline.
dusting my skirt off.
Took you long enough.
Oh, so you've got things handled here?
No, I was just waiting for you.
If whose turn is it?
Yeah, we could do it all together, now that you're in the same room, because it would be Nitro's. Thurston's.
I point to
Nitrostons.
to Blanc. Is this guy he should be punching?
Yes, and if you wouldn't mind, I would like to get out of this chair.
Aldrich will be scrambling then with all of his limbs, just roaring and he's gonna charge at the one that was pointed at. Not gonna wait.
Blank.
And I'd like to use my scissors to cut Thurston free.
Blank looks at the mass of flesh charging straight towards him. Thanks to Aldrich's permanent heightened senses, he's able to hear the word Andre spill from the man's lips, and he attempts to jump out of the nearby window. Do for me. Aldrich, strength, brawl.
I'm gonna grab him. I'm arousing because that's what I do. Now we get hungry. Whoa-ho!
Before the man is able to successfully jump through what's left of the broken window, Aldrich reaches out and grasps him by the leg, holding him upside down. Would you like to do the puny god maneuver?
I would say I gotta Loki this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Strength brawl. There's nothing this man can do.
Not as good. I'm going to reroll some of those.
Okay. Does Hulk form give you any extra damage?
I just have my normal +2. It could, but I instead just buff my tributes out. Although
I think you're close enough.
I will let you know for a fun story thing, and I'm sorry everyone, is I forget one horde form, any critical is a messy critical. So my last my last crit is considered messy.
Aldrich, in his massive Hulk form, takes the feral monster and throws him around the room by his ankle, smashing him into the floor, the walls and pieces of broken glass. It quickly falls into torpor, and then into ash, as Aldrich continues his relentless assault upon the body. As he does so, the beast inside of him begins to scream. Aldrich performs any action not immediately conducive to feeding at a 2 dice penalty to their pools. This compulsion ends when he has slaked at least 1 hunger. You are suffering from the hunger compulsion.
So, after smashing this guy around into eventually ash in my hands, I and them just going to jump straight up into the room I just was, where I know there is a snack waiting.
It's always good to keep snacks.
Well done.
Exactly.
Well done.
And he wondered why I didn't want to just consume Aldrich. Now he knows why.
We will
I
come
just
back to
got
it.
all of this dust off my clothes. I'm brushing the ash off.
Inspector Gray and Nara. Nara. You did some witch magic-like actions and very nice performance, and were able to create 2 copies of yourself that can be seen and can be touched. You are currently in combat with 2 weird, feral-looking, monstery things, and there are another 2 watching. Inspector Gray has already thrown one of his knives and done quite a nice bit of damage to one of them. With that in mind, Inspector Gray, what would you like to do?
I will do my Scorpion's Touch, and I will spit some acidic blood at one of them.
Show me the deets for Scorpion's Touch.
Sure.
That was Dex and Athletics to hit. After that, I get a bit muddy. Okay, so do Dex and Athletics for me, please, and he'll try and dodge. Very nice. And do Strength. Blood Sorcery. Oh, very nice. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Inspector Gray spits a vile, blood-soaked loogie upon his target that splashes straight into the man's face. It instantly begins to burn and corrode away, and the smell of burning dead flesh and hot blood fills the air, as the man is not even able to scream from the pain, and eventually falls to the floor, turning to ash as he impacts and spreads all around. Nara, what would the 3 of you like to do?
Yes. So there's 3 of me now. Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to have one lunge after the other that we are in combat with. And while that one is distracted by that copy, I'm going to go in with my cane, which transforms into a blade. And I'm doing some stabbing.
Strength, melee. This is yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And he's going to dodge with a -1 penalty.
Oops. 1 second.
Quite alright. That's roll 20 messing up, don't worry. Please re-roll.
Okay. It was melee and strength, you said, right? Yes.
Yeah.
0. There we go.
You can re-roll the 2 5s and the 3 if you'd like. For
Okay.
superficial willpower.
And that is the...
Underneath the willpower bar, next to the max willpower.
That one, okay.
We need that on a command, Thurston.
The 3... I think I did that
Nara.
right?
You did.
Okay,
Nara steps forward and unsheathes a sword from her cane as the Sabbat thug is engaged in combat with one of the illusions. She begins to swing it round surprisingly skillfully. Unfortunately, the man is able to dodge every single incoming swipe.
Hmm.
Upon seeing this happen, and the appearance of 2 more kindred, both looking like Nara, the other 2 kindred decide to jump out of the window and escape. They want to live. Aldrich! Super happy fun times.
Yeah, I mean, we're in a frenzy, and we're in horde form. He's just going to approach the person who I assume is still just kneeling, waiting for his instructions to rise, and just walk up behind him and get all 4 huge hands around him and just bite down. Start slurping.
Strength. Brawl. And he is going to resist.
Yeah, we're gonna rouse our feeding anyway. Another messy crit.
No point in me even bloody bothering to roll. Surprise, surprise. Aldrich's.
I think that's a regular crit.
No, it's
in
'cause he's
horde form, every crit is considered a messy crit.
Oh,
Because the
I did
beast
not
is
know
like
that.
right there. Yeah. Good times. The downfall of having so many dice in this form, you're gonna crit more often, and it's just gonna just keep going.
Aldrich's insanely sized hands easily pick up a kindred as he brings it to his mouth, and instead of bothering to simply bite into the flesh, crushes the man and holds the body over his open mouth, allowing every single drop of vitae to spill straight down his throat, and throws the corpse into a corner as it turns to ash. You may slake 5 hunger. However,
From the Diablerie?
no. No. Though a tempting idea, but no.
Say, I think he might be going for it, if that is a possibility.
I think doing Diablerie wouldn't be possible while you're in a compulsion because it takes a lot of focus and concentration. Because it's not just like a normal feed, it's completely drain someone, then going in deliberately for the heart's blood, and you've still got to regain focus. But if you weren't in horde form, and if you weren't in horde form, I'd be very tempted to go down that route. However, I'm going to say, from such a brutal and merciless feeding, you will take 1 humanity stain, simply because he is kindred, so rather than 2 for a model, 1, based on the brutality. And you do hear Shang Tsung's voice echo, brutality.
Of course.
Thurston, Eveline, anything you would like to discuss or do?
I'm still trying to brush all the ash off my dress. Everything okay up there? I yell through the hole.
I just get a
Well,
generic roar in response. A gurgly one.
He sounds
so probably have
okay.
a mouthful of blood.
Me, Aldrich,
I
kick
did-
butt.
I did get separated from the inspector and Nara, though, so we should probably go see if they're anywhere close by.
Aldrich, honey, can you hear where they're at? Get back down here.
Am I still under compulsion?
No, because you've stayed
Okay.
more than one. Yeah. But you will say,
Then yes.
me, Aldrich, no honey, me, king.
So instead of using one of the 2 holes now in the floor, I'll be creating a third one to come back down to where they are.
Of course.
Yep. And that will be an automatic success.
Aldrich, always one for redecoration.
I'll just stay very still for a moment, just among sort of the rubble and probably the dust and wood splinters kicked up, and just listen intensely. For
Got all
signs
that
of the
dust off my
inspector and
dress.
Nara.
And yeah, you will definitely be able to discern exactly where Nara and Inspector Grey are. And
I rush that way.
and while you're in horrid form, you will basically be able to just charge through any debris that gets in your way.
Imagining the whole, you got the shape of the door and then he runs through it and it's the shape of Aldrich.
Literally.
Just runs through and he's like, I'm Aldrich, bitch!
Hey, I get that one.
Ah. You don't watch enough Transformers to get my other ones. Nara, Inspector Grey. Inspector Grey, it is your combat turn.
I will throw a throwing knife.
Man of imagination. Dexterity athletics, please.
I will re-roll 3 of those.
Lovely. Inspector Grey takes careful aim and throws another knife through the air that manages to impact with the Cainite currently engaged in close combat with Nara, sinking its blade straight into the man's shoulder. Watches as Vitae begins to slowly seep out down his skin as he maneuvers out of the way of incoming fists and sword blows. Nara. Finish him.
Okay. Oh yeah. I'm going in. I'm gonna have my 2 copies gang up from one side, and then I'm going in on the other.
Strength.
More stabbing.
Strength melee. And this guy is going to go down fighting. However, he's going to have a -2 penalty.
Fingers crossed. Ah.
You can re-roll the 3 and 1 if you'd like, for another superficial willpower.
Only if you wish.
It was only 2 dice, correct? I could reroll.
Yes, because you can't re-roll hunger dice. and the 7 is a
Gotcha.
success.
Oh my goodness.
Would you like success at cost? You don't have to if you don't want
Fine.
to.
I'll go with it. What's the cost?
It's a good question.
Lay it on me.
This one could be fun. Nara, for a brief moment, hears a voice crack through her skull.
You belong to me.
And she is able to see fully for a brief moment as she feels her arm be pulled, not of her own accord, and guided through the air. Her sword flies through and successfully decapitates the man standing in front of her with skill, poise, and elegant grace. It turns to ash before it even falls to the floor. As she watches her dead opponent glide away in a caught-up piece of wind, cinematically, she feels the beast in her skull scream. Nara is driven by their blood to court danger, haunted as she is by the righteous fire burning its way up their lineage, and why not? The next time Nara is faced with a problem to solve, any attempted solution, short of the most daring or dangerous, incurs a 2-dice penalty. You are suffering from the Ravnos compulsion, tempting fate. This compulsion will persist until the problem is solved or further attempts become impossible.
Gotcha. But I can still see all of a sudden?
Only for that brief moment when you
For that
decapitated.
brief moment.
And Aldrich, in his green fleshy form and small purple pants, flashes into the room.
Thurston and I will saunter in later.
Yeah, just bursting in, looking around for just something to grab and tear and bite. Everything is cleared, though.
All the enemies are dead. There is only a dead person left in the building.
Are there still multiple Naras?
Good question.
That is a good question. Nara?
Yeah. There, you definitely see 3 of me.
Can
I
borrow one of them,
look.
please?
So I actually look like I'm in complete shock because I just had an experience I've never had before since I was 12. So my copies are just standing at my side looking just as confused as I am. And I'm gonna call out to the inspector to see if he's also still in the room with me.
I kind of imagine Aldrich doing the whole rub his eyes, then with his second set of hands, rub his eyes.
Yes, no, which one of you should I be addressing?
As I go like this, the other 2 do the exact same thing. And I finally realize that they're still here, and I actually just pass my hand through them, and they disappear.
Oh,
And I'm gonna go up to you, and are you okay?
Oh, yes, I'm quite alright. These, I suppose, Sabbat vampires were quite weak. They didn't really pose much of a threat to us. A bit of a shame, but we can't always have a challenge, I suppose.
Are you guys used?
I don't hear anything else in the building, though. I mean, I'm going to take a moment to listen while this conversation's happening.
Just the usual sound. The
I
Thames crashing
assume the
against
ones who
wall.
ran are probably far enough away where I can't hear them either.
Yeah.
And of course, I'd be humming.
So at this point, he would start shifting back, which I guess now would just hear just sort of a breaking of bones and sort of a shifting of sinew and muscle and almost like a lot of ripping, rearranging, wet sounds. Slowly, he's makes
Thurston?
himself back to his...
So I was just gonna ask, with my special sight and how it works for me in combat, do I see any strangeness with what is happening with him right now? Or is that, like, done now because we're no longer in combat?
Let's say no for now.
Okay.
Let's say no.
I'm just hearing all this weirdness. Okay.
Oh, let's say nay.
Nay.
Yeah, horde form is purely physical if it's an Auspex thing, but also he does it to sort of take on a demonic appearance for Endymion. So maybe there's a tinge of something. I don't know. That'd be up to Shiv.
Speaking of Endymion, does he ever front in your conscious? Does he take over sometimes?
Tried to tell us what to do before.
At the end of the night, Endymion does whatever Endymion wants to do.
I was able to see just a moment ago. Like, see fully.
What did you see?
I chopped a man's head off, and I was able to see every single detail, what that man looked like, down to the blood that I spilled. The color of it. Everything. And then it was gone. And now I'm back in the dark.
Sounds
Just
like
looking
a...
up.
Go ahead.
Oh, just looking up at, like we do when we talk to him. Well, that's kind of rude, isn't it? To just give something to somebody just to rip it away.
Oh, it's the carrot to entice you, to show you what he is capable of.
True.
Have you always been blind? Have you ever been able to see?
I was able to see up until I was 12 years old. I had a really bad night terror, and then that was it. My sight was gone, and it's been that way ever since.
But it pleases me to be the first.
Oh,
What'd he say?
Then it pleases me to be the first.
yes.
Oh.
And I'm assuming he means the first to give me sight again, which
Yes.
is quite incredible. I do feel a little bit lightheaded. It was very intense. The colors, the lights. I need a moment. I'm just gonna rest against the nearest person to me.
You're seeing for the first time with vampire or with kindred eyes.
Yes, actually. You would be right. I've only ever seen with the gift that I have. This was so far beyond anything I've experienced. It was wonderful and scary. I would love to see again. I don't know if that's possible, though. Was this a one-time thing?
No. No.
Anything is possible when you're on Endymion's side. But none of his gifts come for free.
I see.
You
Well-
exaggerate.
What kind of services have you done for him? What kind of services have you done for him in the past?
When he came to you, in what moment did he make you see? When you were destroying someone, right?
Yes.
That's what he likes. Blood sacrifices and in his name. He's particular though, right? There's a certain, like anything else, he has a palate. We're still figuring out exactly what that is, but he will let you know when he sees something he wants.
I understand.
Have you killed before?
Only those who believes can give me sustenance.
Oh,
Yes, I have. And not just on accident, like what happened at your business.
interesting.
I have killed with purpose, yes. It's my intent to survive, and I will do whatever it takes. Sometimes my condition could be a hindrance, but that's also when my helpers come into play as well.
Right, well, if that is your view on being one who dispenses such a thing, then I think you'll find yourself in like-minded company.
Good to know.
But for now, I'm quite curious what the hell happened here. Not just in this room, this building. We've obviously been led into a trap of some sort, right?
Most definitely. There were tricks used to get us in here to believe that someone was in need of help, and they were not.
At that moment, I inspect the body on the floor.
You don't need to roll for that. The dead human has quite obviously been eaten away at. Pieces of flesh have been torn off, leaving blood-stained bones exposed and pieces of muscle and ligament exposed and torn. Bite marks are clearly visible on the bones, and the face is frozen in a death mask of pure fear. The woman's clothes are completely soiled with blood and mostly ripped and torn away.
Oh, how gruesome! I would never do such a thing as this.
Thurston, I couldn't help but overhear yours was speaking to you. It seems the rest of us were just attacked on sight.
Yes.
You get
he
anything
tricked
interesting?
He tricked me into sitting into a chair, and it locked me to it, and then he started asking. I think he was attempting to do.
How did he
something
trick
to
you?
me. Well, he told me to sit down, and I said no, and then he threw me into the chair.
Alright.
Thurston! Manipulation and subterfuge. Aldrich,
Okay.
would you prefer intelligence or wits and insight?
Let's do wits.
Okay.
Oh, there we go, Thurston.
I'm gonna re-roll the 0, so it's not a messy.
Okay.
We don't need that right now.
Okay. That still goes to Thurston, so as far as Aldrich can tell, that is the truth.
Damn, I had a line.
Right, so, did you get any interesting... What was he rambling on about?
Something about Camarilla is evil. If you want true power, go around eating everybody. Very anti-Masquerade, if you ask me.
Speaking of, and I'll take a handkerchief out of my pocket and wipe a smudge of blood off of Aldrich's cheek.
Thank you.
If this But if this individual's
It's
been...
quite dusty in here.
Yes, the air is just filled with ash. Has this individual been running around diabolizing people, eating them? Because if this could be our serial diabolist...
He did talk quite a bit about how phenomenal it feels to diablerize someone. He did not tell me exactly how many, but your theory could be correct.
Well, if he was rather brash about rampant devouring of the souls of other kindred, then that does lead me to believe that he may be our serial diabolist, as they diabolize so many kindred.
Well, fortunately, they are not around to ask.
Yeah, he kind of proved my point correct in the end. He talked about how powerful diablerie makes you, and then you run into the room and turn him into a pile of ash.
I haven't seen that before. What does that mean if they
What,
turn
the
to
ash?
ash? Yes.
Well, when a kindred is alive for a certain amount of time, when their body is granted final death, it assumes the form that a mortal body would, having gone through the same amount of time.
Oh, so that means they were quite old then. Interesting. Alright, well, either way, we have performed the duty for Mr. Masters, who tasked us to deal with the independent kindred here. Should we go back and let him know what we found?
I believe so. That seems to be a good next step here. Also strange that this kindred disclosed quite a bit to you, Thurston.
He was trying to convert me, I think, but it didn't work. And thankfully, I had Aldrich to prove my point.
Well, I'm glad you're still with us.
I am too.
I think we should take a quick look around, just to see if there's any sign of what they were doing here, or where they might have gone, and then report back.
Before moving on, I would search the body for any valuables.
Couple of pence,
I'll still pocket them.
like a magpie.
Aldrich's just going back to the carriage, even though he said let's search the place. He doesn't do searches, so...
Okay, yeah, that's fine. And anyone who stays and remains doesn't find anything out of sorts. The coterie leave the office building, and the broken bodies of their enemies behind them. As they walk out onto the docks, the night air is filled with the sounds of rushing water, creaking wood, and the sounds of distant dock workers, busy working on ships like Michelle's heart. Out of the shadows and abandoned buildings and debris, a man Nara recognizes as Alexander comes charging forth, waving his arms for attention. "Mistress Nara! Mistress! Mistress, are you okay? Where have you been? What's happened?" Hide that smile.
Alex! I was not expecting you to be here, but I'm fine, really. There's no need to worry. Really, I am fine.
But we have been so worried about you. We are supposed to keep you safe, always. Daniel and I had no idea where you were until finally we found you here. Then when we heard that giant crash, and another giant crash, and another giant crash, well, we couldn't see you, and we feared the worst. If anything were to happen to you, Mistress, what would happen to us?
Oh, Alex. And I'm gonna reach out for his hand and take it into mine. I'm so sorry for worrying you. I didn't feel it's safe to bring you along with me. I had others to help. So it was best to keep you at home.
The moment you grab his hand, you can feel him just relax a little bit more, but then you mention others. He looks confused and said, "Who even are these people? Do you know them? How do you know them? What do they do?"
They were...
Thurston gives a little wave from the distance.
This doesn't concern you. Leper?
Alex, please. Please. They have been very kind to me so far, especially since we met at the house. They also had business there, and they assisted in what I needed to do as well. As I told you, you helped me find them, and I know I didn't give all details, but again, it was for your safety. Believe me, everything I do is for the safety of you and Daniel.
You've always looked after us so far, but we worry about you. What are we to do? Where do we fit into all of this?
Well, you will always be my helpers. Even with these new folks, you will always have a need in my heart. I promise. Just... now we have more. Think of it as another addition to our team.
We'll try, Mistress, but you remember the problems we had at the start. We don't like to share you.
Yes.
Now there are these new people here as well.
I'm sorry, you cut off a little bit.
You want me to repeat the whole thing? I'll take that as a yes. Mistress, you remember... Oh,
So sorry. I'm having
it's
such
okay.
technical difficulties.
It's okay. It happens. You remember when we first started this, Mistress, we didn't like to share you just between us at that point, and now there are these strangers as well? It's going to be a problem.
Oh, Alex, please, open your heart. Give them a chance. There's something unique about these individuals. And I believe they also have the abilities to keep you all safe too. But we must give them a chance first.
You know we can't say no to you. But just be careful. We care about you. More than you think.
You both are such a blessing to me. And I give him a kiss on the hand. And I just gently continue to caress to reassure him. Would you like to meet the others? I can introduce you.
That's a good question. I'll meet with them, but I'll scope them out for you and let you know what I think, and then I can tell Daniel as well.
need you to say that one more time. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. I'll meet with them and I'll scope them out for you and tell you what I think, and I can even tell Daniel about them too.
Excellent. Of course. I know you always have good judgment. So I'm going to look, face wherever they are. Hopefully they're in my direction. And have Alex lead the way towards them.
Your left.
Yes.
Your left.
To the left. Yes, that one. Of course. And we're going to walk over together to the group. And I'm going to say, everyone, I would like you to meet a very important person to me in my line of business. This is Alexander. He is very well knowledged in the occult, and with certain rituals, he aids me in my explorations.
He'll have a bit more confidence now that he is next to you and arm in arm kind of thing. He feels reassured, a bit more confident.
What's he look like?
So he has short, ruffled, sandy blonde hair and glasses, and very tidy, very clean looking, well kept, all in black. He definitely has a serious look on his face. He is checking you guys out. He's trying to get a feel for what you guys are. He comes off as is very protective of Nara, especially the way that he holds her. He has a hand on her waist, keeping her close. It's a tight protective grip.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to meet you. And I hold out my hand.
He'll just look at the hand and he'll shuffle a bit more, sort of shoulder towards you, and then just grasp your hand and shake it awkwardly.
Just kind of awkwardly shake back.
And the rest of you?
Oh, you not know how to greet a woman of society, Alex?
There's no one more important than my mistress, and she is the only one I will show such respect to.
Rude.
Oh, loyalty. You've done good with this one, Nara. Is he... I assume he's not aware of your social club.
Joined a club now?
Esport. He would know of this. He's just being silly. Pam on the face. Stop your nonsense.
Alright, so he does know of the club we're all in then?
Are you speaking of our club? I thought you meant of the society. He works with me in the society that you saw on that card.
Right.
As well as us. He's aware that you are an extra helping hand.
Right. Aldrich Bevro, pleasure to meet you. I'll roughly shake his hand.
Alexander, and he'll take your hand as well, and you'll notice that for what you think is just a normal human, that's quite a grip. And he doesn't seem to be too bothered by your heavy hand.
I am Thurston. You can just stick to Thurston. I don't typically...
I'm
bother
only
people
sticking
with
to
my-
Mistress.
If you shake
Well,
his hand, it might stick a bit, actually.
No, what I was gonna do is I was gonna reach for a handshake, and as soon as he went to reciprocate it, I was going to pick his arm up like the way Evelyn was presenting hers and kiss him on the knuckle.
Yeah, alright, that'll happen. And, just before he was about to grasp it, he was going to try and retract it in but you'd be fast enough to be able to grab it. And he would just be like...
And I have no idea what just happened.
It's not catching what you have, is it?
I'll offer him my handkerchief.
Thank you, Ms.
You. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Thurston.
No, I was just gonna make a joke. Go ahead.
You may want to keep your hands clean, fellow. You can call me Gray, and I'll definitely pick out one of my knives and just start cleaning my nails with it. I won't offer to shake his hand.
Custom blades, I see.
Yes, I make them myself.
Interesting. You'll all be keeping Nara safe, won't you? She is important. She is the most important person, not just in London, but the entire Empire.
I was unaware of this importance, but I will do my part to keep her safe.
I will raise an eyebrow. Oh, is Lady Nara here part of the royal bloodline?
Indeed she is! But not the regal.
He's a sweetheart, and I saved his life a while back, and he's been devoted to me since, and I appreciate everything. He's such a hard worker. I appreciate everything that he has done for me.
It's not hard
And just as
work
much as
for
he
you.
values me, I value him.
Mistress, it is my pleasure, not work. Oh god, I'm gonna be sick.
Oh,
Right.
that's so sweet.
Is the other one like this too?
Oh, Daniel's a charmer. He's very playful. That one is a journalist. Quite,
So he has better
not afraid
manners.
to take risks. What was that?
So he has better manners.
I would certainly hope so, Alex.
Right. Well, Alex,
He's shy.
we do appreciate you allowing us to spend time with your partner. It's quite interesting. Is there anything else you need?
My pride back? Just look after her. We will always be nearby. We can't risk anything bad happening to her. You're all that matters to us.
Oh, Alex, thank you so much. I should have known you would come looking for me. It's very hard to get anything past you, especially Daniel. But yes, I will allow you to be on standby. And when I need you, I promise I will call.
Thank you, mistress. Just be safe.
Right. And do try to... manners are very important. Myself and some of us, we come from a higher stock, so... I know Nara is very important to you, but you should learn to address us in a proper way. And I think you should maybe try again with Miss Evelyn there and give her proper respect the lady deserves and kiss her hand goodbye. So we take our leave.
Alex,
And again, I'll hold my hand out.
It's quite all right. She does have lovely skin.
Not saying the obvious line? For you, mistress. For you. And he will take your hand and just lightly kiss it.
Good boy. Thank you. Now go on.
I'll
Run along.
curtsy. Have a good evening.
It will start to wander off and then just make sure, whisper into Nara's ear, the skin's nowhere near as nice as yours.
Just gonna pat him on the hand and let him on his way.
Please move on.
I apologize for him. The change is difficult.
It's okay. I've seen this type of behavior before, and I completely understand why it's happened, so it's not new to us.
It's quite simple to. I'm impressed with the level of loyalty you've inspired in him.
It's quite sweet.
I don't. If you're interested, I can show you how to really make sure that they're quick on taking your commands, right? I mean, making sure they're loyal is in of itself, but you want to shape them just so, right? To serve you in a way that's best. If that's something you're interested in. They're welcome to stay at the house with us as well. A lot of my men stay in the lower levels.
I just have concern regarding our buddy that tags along. I don't know if he will take well to Alexander and Dan.
There's a way around that, you see.
Yeah.
The men that I deemed, I call them my heavy-handed, my inner circle, the ones closest to me. I simply have given them the mark of Endymion. That way they are allowed to pass in his domain without being consumed.
And Sarah Lynn is welcomed and works the house.
The mark, you say?
Right.
Is that a specific, an actual mark, or is this just?
Oh, my men, yeah, it's quite literal.
You can do that.
Yeah, a bit of metal and a bit of heat, and anyone can do it.
I'm pretty sure it's not literal on Sarah Lynn. Right? Storyteller.
If she has the mark of Endymion, then yes, it'll be literal.
Okay.
But she doesn't have to leave the house. If she's in the house, she doesn't have to go in and out. She could be a house school.
Yeah, I mean, she pretty much is. She takes care of the house. So.
I mean, I know that's a sarcastic remark, but yeah, she can.
So this would hurt them if it was done.
Do you think they're the type to be comfortable pledging loyalty to an entity such as that?
As you saw, it was a little bit rough just to get him over here and introduce you all.
You need
I
not
wouldn't
do
be
it.
surprised if he came around and told me that I should be aware and stay away, if anything. But
That's the part I worry about. You said he'll be watching, right? And I don't like being watched. There's a lot of things I do that I don't need prying eyes at witnessing. And if they were
And he
to...
doesn't seem as dim-witted as some of the others. I'm looking at Aldrich.
I don't know what you mean.
Not you! Some of your helpers. They need a little extra explaining.
Some of them do, but I've been weeding out, and I'm stuck with mostly competent ones now.
Yes, I'm sure after your impromptu shaving lessons, you weeded out a great number of men who struggled.
Exactly. Well, Nara, it's just... You very careful how you handle your relationship with them. If you allow them to get too close without letting them in on what we do and what we are, you might be putting them in danger.
well, you have a point. And they are quite efficient with what they do. I do my best to keep them clean and well kept as possible. I guess if it's all right with you all, I know you all were very tight-lipped about the situation. But if you're willing to welcome them in, I would greatly appreciate that.
I'm fine with it. Another option could be I can simply I didn't want to do it because I don't want to I consider them your charges and don't want to overstep. I can quite easily make them forget anything they've seen. I can rearrange the memories in a way that suits us. So if you value their moral spark or whatever it is you see in them and you want them to have a bit of autonomy and freedom, that's fine. But just be aware that I may need to adjust things in their head every so often to feel comfortable with that as well. I'm not sure what... my men work for me. It's a very business relationship, so I'm not as worried about their happiness and things like that. But you might be. You seem to have a more personable connection, we'll say, with them. They're partners of yours, although they seemed a bit more than that. You don't have to decide now. I'm just putting it out there. Just something to think about in the future. Because if they come around the house and they enter, Demion will deal with them. But if you want to bring them in and house train them, we can do that too.
And to add on to Aldrich's offer, I can reassure you that there are no lasting side effects because a previous coterie member liked doing it to me, and I'm fine.
Well, you do have good points. And if this will also keep them safe and protected, then I will do what is best for them.
Right. Mull that over. Let us know. In the meantime, I believe... Well, how much time is left in the evening? Do we have time to report back to the guy who sent us here?
Just enough time to report to Cyril Masters before sunrise.
We'll do that.
Okay.
A little on the way. Now, I was meaning to ask you. Now I entered the room. I couldn't help but notice I witnessed multiple of you. That
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yes, it was. It is one of my many abilities that I have. Similar to the sight that I've been given when I was embraced, this ability was also given to me.
What exactly is that ability? I have not witnessed it before, and I'm quite intrigued.
I am able to manipulate reality to an extent. More so, an individual's perception of reality. Whether that be with their sight, their hearing, smell, taste. I can manipulate all of that to my will.
Really? That's quite fascinating and useful. Okay, can you give us a demonstration if you don't mind?
Absolutely. So, I am going to do what Inspector might have seen during combat. Different hand symbols and gestures. And I am going to cast over your sight to see me as though I was on fire. Burning, blazing. You can smell the fire. You can smell burning flesh. But I'm not harmed.
Do all of us see that or just Aldrich?
Do a rouse check for me, please.
Just Aldrich.
Just Aldrich, okay, good.
What was that?
Do a rouse check for me, please, Nara.
Rouse. Perfect.
And is this going to be... I think this is going to be Fata Morgana. Rather than
Yes.
the other ones. So please roll Fata Morgana for me. I was going to say that's a great name for a band, and then I remembered it is a band.
It is a band.
Oh, is it a band you know? Because there might be two bands with that name then.
I've only heard the name.
And you wanted to...
Also, my
look
girlfriend is a
that way.
metalhead.
Oh, well, Fata Morgana was like dungeon synth, I think. It was a Mortis side project. It's good
Oh,
shit.
that's something I'd like.
But yes, that will be completely successful, Nara. Who sits
Yes.
there.
So you feel
flame.
everything in regards to a fire, from the warmth to the smell, hearing the cackling of the fire, everything. Full experience. But I am not harmed. I am calm as the flames engulf my entire body.
Is that a terror frenzy check for me if I'm seeing
shit.
fire in front of me?
Fuck! Yeah, you're absolutely
I was thinking the
right.
same thing.
Yeah. No, Aldrich would.
That's why I was asking if it was just him or if it was all
Yeah,
of us.
same.
fuck out.
Christ,
'Cause I was
yeah,
gonna
that's,
ask if I had
that's
to do
right.
it.
I have a chance to see through the illusion, but it's a
Dude.
whopping 1 dice pool for me, so I'm not even gonna bother.
Yeah. Okay, do a Terror Frenzy for me. Difficulty 3. Shit, yeah, thank you for that. Of course it is.
As soon as she said fire, I was like, no.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist. I saw the opportunity and I was like, yes. Terror.
You feel the beast well up inside of you, and you are able to suppress it, telling yourself over and over it is just an illusion, it's not real fire, and the beast subsides for now.
Would it? Are you still appearing on fire? Because I think I'm not. I don't have to run away, but because I don't know it's an illusion, I still think it's fire, right? I just not necessarily fleeing in terror. I could just act
Correct.
how I want to act.
Move back.
Yeah,
away.
either way, yeah, everyone see Aldrich just. I mean, he's not in a terror frenzy, but he's still absolutely losing his shit because she just burst into flame in front of him. And even though he just asked her to demonstrate it, there's something so visceral and real about it that just reacts on instinct. And you see him just, would he be sitting by? He's going to reach for Inspector or Thurston to put between him and the fire. He's immediately just reaching out, probably to both of them, and just sort of in a panic, scrambling.
Oh, look at you tremble. How cute.
Yeah, he's just going to look around at everyone else who's not reacting to this.
I'm actually going
Aldrich
to
is-
What did you do to him? Is he okay?
I'm going to reach out to Eveline, and the fire also follows. And as I put my hands on her, she now is on fire, but she doesn't feel anything.
That would be
It's
another
just-
Fatal Morgana roll.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I had to do
Yeah,
it.
this is amazing.
And
I
only
feel
Aldrich
like
can
we're-
see this, right? So Evelyn doesn't even notice.
I feel like we're doing a very famous Prodigy song inside the carriage right now.
Everything's on fire.
Roll,
Just-
and I was going to say, roll Firestarter for me. Roll Fata Morgana for me, please.
I was gonna say, so how about this? How when I touch her, the illusion takes over whoever else is touching near her, and it passes on, almost like a shock, a voltage going through. So that way, everything's on fire.
Aldrich is still the only one that can see it, right?
He's
I'll
the
let-
only one that can see
Yeah.
it.
So as
I'll
you
let-
take my hand, I'll just take both of your hands in mine, like in a very comforting way.
Embracing each other in the flames.
Yes.
Very romantic, very passionate, fiery.
Since he's not succumbed to a terror frenzy, though he still wants to put a distance between this, but now he sees you setting fire to his friends. I think Aldrich's gonna try to punch Nor in the face. Just out of instinctual, just like he doesn't know what's going on. All of a sudden he reaches over and sets another coterie member on fire. He's like, shit, we're all gonna die. And he's just gonna lean forward and go to swing on her.
Is that something I could anticipate and try and like dodge for her since she can't see it?
I've got an idea.
Oh,
Strength and brawl. And Nara, Dex Athletics with a +1 modifier from Eveline helping you out.
Okay.
Like, how's she gonna dodge something she can't see? But I can try and pull her.
Yeah.
What was it again?
Dex Athletics.
Dex and athletics?
Yeah, it'd be Athletics Dex if you use the sheet.
And then you said +1 modifier, right?
Yes, please.
Oh, no. Is it rolls today? It was just.
It's not too bad.
I
No,
just
this
realised
is-
you were meant to be under compulsion as well, but we'll be alright. It'll be fine. Be a bit
This is
difficult to
risky.
do
It's a risky
Yeah.
behavior. I had to go with it.
Yeah.
True. This is the riskiest way you can do this. Very simple. Hey, what's your power? Oh, I love
I'm
it.
gonna set everything on fire.
Literally the Elmo meme where Elmo's like this and it's fire.
Yeah, it's fire.
It's literally me.
Yeah,
you
so
can
we just
re-roll
gonna-
the 3, the 1, and the 3 if you like for a willpower point.
What was that?
You can re-roll the 3, 1, 3 for a willpower point if you'd like.
Okay. I will do that.
Because Aldrich does not punch softly.
Here we go. Tell
This
me not.
isn't bad.
All of the rest of us, in Aldrich's point of view, this is fine.
Aldrich instinctively reaches out and attempts to strike Nara, the cad. Thankfully, due to Eveline's help and assistance in pulling her over, Nara is barely scraped, although impact is still made, and you take 1 superficial damage.
I
Yeah,
smack
he's just
Aldrich.
He's
For
just
fuck's
gonna
sake.
yell. He's gonna yell "witch"
Yeah,
and
just the
punch,
whole-
and then he's gonna say,
doing?
"Everyone
That's
out!
bad
Everyone
manners."
out!"
Gray will go and try to grab a hold of Aldrich. Aldrich, good sir, what's gotten into you? You're acting up. I haven't seen this from you. I know
Acting up.
I've had my
And I'm-
issues, but now it's my chance to try and help you calm down. You need to stop this.
I just slap him.
I'm cracking up. I just got hit. I'm laughing hysterically. Like, this is so much fun I've had in a really long time.
You and both.
And I'm just I'm going to stop the illusion, simply moving my hands like this as though I am wafting out the flames, and I'm going to apologize. I'm so sorry. You just made it so easy.
He's gonna again
put
just
her
look
on.
around at everyone. Oh no, she was setting you on fire. No one else saw.
I didn't see any flames, Aldrich. I
We
don't know what's
be
gotten
here
into
if there
you.
was a fire.
No, you really do have to teach me that. I've never seen anyone get Aldrich to react that way.
Oh, no,
Quite a
all of you look me in the eyes and tell me that you did not see fire.
Oh, I saw
There
fire.
was no fire.
It was funny though.
Can I attempt to? He's got a safe face here. I have mass manipulation now, so I want to attempt on all of them to essentially erase the memory of him freaking out like that. Not Nara. I want Nara to remember what happened, but I want Eveline, Inspector, and Thurston to not remember him flipping out and punching her while they were all
That's got to
calm.
be one of the most Zamitzi rolls ever. I want to roll to preserve my pride. Show me mass
Yes.
manipulation,
Same
please.
face.
Yes.
Also, quick question: how do I mark superficial damage on here?
A
X.
slash.
One click.
Through the red.
Through the red. Thank you. I'm still getting the hang of it, guys.
So that's what I'm doing to hit everyone, but I'm hitting them with this.
Is it 1 rouse check per person or 1 rouse check overall and then 1 roll?
It's
each?
1 rouse check, and whoever is the best pool is who I'm going against. And if I beat them, it beats everyone.
And it's intelligence and resolve.
Mhm.
Yes.
I have 5 total.
I have 6.
God, it's just relying on Thurston.
I have 5 as well.
It's Thurston.
Oh,
Thurston, intelligence resolve.
Okay, Aldrich, rouse check.
I won't rouse.
Forgetful
No,
mind.
I won't rouse for this.
Thurston.
You rousing for this?
No, I'm not gonna rouse for this.
Oh, yeah, I'll do a
It's
straight roll
funnier
if you're
if I
doing a straight
fail.
roll. Although, you know what?
funnier
He's
if I
desperate
fail.
to save face. No, I am.
This
rousing
is the
a lot.
best carriage ride ever.
This is. I love this series of events that happen here.
I would say you see a very like
Ooh, no,
childlike.
I'm gonna
Oh
reroll
my
3.
god, Thurston.
No,
Oh,
no.
Thurston.
I was gonna say, you see a very like childlike side to Nara. Very playful, mischievous. After just witnessing how sweet she could also be. So it's like, just that's there.
So, after everyone to look him in the eye and tell him they didn't see fire, once he has that eye contact, he's gonna say, "Right, none of you motherfuckers saw shit. You all saw Nara do an interesting visual effect. I reacted appropriately, and right now we are discussing the merits of her abilities." And then I'll implant that memory. And then look to Nara and say, "I can do things too." But, just sort of straighten himself out a little bit. I'm quite impressed. Please do not do that again. At least to me. That's still... Oh, yeah. It was like I was right there. That was... Oh, I could do that.
All I will say is, just be on my good side. And I won't do it again.
I agree, Aldrich. That was quite a phenomenal trick.
Oh, Nara, did you get struck while we were in that house? You have a little bit of... And I'm gonna yank
Oh,
the
I forgot.
handkerchief out of Evelyn's hand. And I'm gonna go wipe the little bit of blood off of Nara's face.
Oh, yes. You're right. I did, and I wish wherever he is, I'm able to find him somehow, make direct eye contact. Like, don't worry. I got you.
He starts to mouth sorry, and then realize it doesn't matter. So, just...
But she's not mad. You see that she's very, like, this was very fun for her, and your response is very just.
You could probably still feel, a little bit of tension, a little bit of fear. Lingering fear from the fire, and also lingering fear for striking you. You can't see it, but he's just constantly looking back between Evelyn and you. Just thank God Evelyn doesn't remember that he hit a woman, because that's the main source of his fear now, is Evelyn's reaction. And then he's just quiet for the rest of the ride.
The Hot Wheels car eventually comes to a stop on the edge of Soho Square. And at this point we shall take a break after they've invented everything. Eradicate them all.
Yes, they certainly seemed to be governed in large part by their beasts.
They're barely better than feral creatures. However, as you have
They're quite old,
survived...
though.
I'm sorry, pardon?
They must be quite old, though.
Some. What makes you say that?
They just turned to ash.
Ah. They are corrupt beings. They often revel in diablerie and amaranth. As such, they run a very risky path. I have more information for you on de Camden. As you have been successful, I will be more forthright. Roger de Camden may be his actual name. However, you will not be able to find him using that. All traces of the kindred known by that name have been falsely labelled as having met his final death. Your search will be fruitless. You had to fake the death of Roger de Camden to escape the Giovanni's attempt at killing all the Cappadocians. And thanks to Mithras, he was successful in inventing the identity of Thomas Camden. It may not be the most subtle of name changes. I think the protection of Mithras has done more to discourage the Giovanni than his simple name change. I believe I have informed you all about de Camden's general location. Now, I could also introduce you to Lady Anne Bosley, the seneschal of the city. She could prove to be a valuable ally if you wish to pursue de Camden, though arranging a meeting with her may take some time, and she is not always the most amicable of kindred. De Camden, however, is something of a mystery, but I could easily get you into Brooks' Club with a temporary invitation. Of course, you could do both, and reserve your judgments until you've at least spoken to both suspects. Just be sure to not draw too much attention to yourselves, so that both parties are oblivious to your activities. You don't want to arouse suspicions now, do you?
Quite. Keeping a low profile will certainly benefit us greatly.
Which course would you like to pursue?
It's either Miss Bowsley will help us track down Mr. Camden, or you can get us into a club that he's a part of.
Correct. And, so you know, to avoid any future mishaps, refer to her as Lady Bosley. She would not appreciate a simple title as Ms. or Miss.
Good to know. Well, what is her motivation in all of this? What would we have to offer her in order to help us?
A fair question. One that I need secrecy from you all to answer. Such information is quite taboo. But there is word in the court that she does not have fondness for de Camden or indeed Mithras, though she would be folly to defy him. He is a direct child of Valerius. Although, publicly, of course, she denounces her sire now. Such bonds are not easily broken.
That makes her a venture then?
Correct.
No. We have a moment of privacy to maybe discuss our options among our coterie.
Very well. And he will stand up, casually walk away. Frail, tipping on his cane, supporting himself on a beam, and eventually leave. You'll be able to hear with your heightened senses that he has genuinely given you as much privacy as can be afforded.
Right, so what are our thoughts on this?
Well, I suppose we typically take a direct approach. That may benefit us.
Which do you consider the direct approach?
I'm not quite sure.
Alright, thanks for that useful insight, Inspector. Thurston, what are your thoughts?
Well, I find it quite interesting that this Theodore Camden keeps changing his name.
It was Timothy.
I thought it was Terrence.
Guys, I'm bad
we're
with
looking
does
for
this.
Camden. Yeah. How do you think this joke started? Well, considering he went through such troubles to get away from the Giovanni, I'm even more curious to learn about this character. I once thought that maybe there was a little bit for our arguments that we've been given to prove about him being a member of the Giovanni, who notoriously hates Mithras due to his treatment or lack of treatment of their extermination. So,
Right, I mean, I heard that, and I feel like a good way to flesh him out, to let the Giovanni know where he is. Though I don't know any Giovanni personally. Could be an option. But it seems either way we have an option of either dealing with a very powerful and self-important Ventru in the Camarilla, or we infiltrate a mostly mortal club and navigate our way through there. So it feels like it'd be whichever's easiest for us.
Wasn't the man that had the metal man, you know, the one that punches hard, wasn't he a Giovanni?
Oh, good Nosferatu sometimes, Thurston. That's right. I was a Giovanni. Not sure how connected he is with the rest of his clan, but that could be a very good thing to have in our pocket, right?
He did seem like a very isolated individual.
Normally, I would suggest avoiding another uppity kindred, right? That's gonna swing the power at us, and we're gonna have to grovel and do this and that just to ultimately make them look better. But the fact that she is related to Valerius and harbors resentment or harbors ambitions to maybe get rid of Mithras very much intrigues me. Especially now
She's high society.
Right. And we don't have that snitch Alistair around, so we can actually maybe make some headway with going things not the Camarilla way. Or not the Mithras way. No, I doing things our way.
Yes, I see your point, and if we did involve the Giovanni, while the chaos that would ensue could be advantageous for us, it could also be a double-edged sword and cause us a great deal of strife if things don't go our way.
That's what most things we do, Inspector. We tend to take very high risks, and they at least partially work out for us, right? We're still here, at least. So what are we thinking then? This lady on, or infiltrate the club? Nara, what are your thoughts?
Well, I've definitely seemed to have joined quite in the middle of something that's been going on for a long time for you all. It's a lot of information that you guys have collected. Although, I will say, infiltrating a mortal club does sound like a lot of fun.
Alright. Might have better luck there as well. And we might be able to pursue both in a way. Maybe we start with one and have the other in our back pocket.
I would love a chance to meet Lady Bosley.
Let's see if we can't do both. We could start with a meeting with the lady. And then, if it's a simple matter for us, the powers to get us in the club, right, we'll do that. We'll see what the timelines are. I'll go let him know we're ready.
Anything the four of you wish to talk about while Aldrich's out of the room? Now's your time to say mean things about him.
Well, you know, he would never hit a woman.
Kind of like randomly says that sometimes.
I was quite curious about that. That I can't quite remember what it was, but that spectacular trick that you showed us all.
Yeah. It was definitely quite the show. Do you really not remember any of it, though? There were a lot of spots.
Of course, I remember everything.
Yeah.
I remember that fantastic display, that fantastic trick you did, and we all appreciated it greatly. And I remember Aldrich had quite some deft comments he made and theories regarding the trick.
That's really weird, Inspector. That's exactly what I remember about it as well.
He was
That must
quite
be
in
some
awe.
trick.
It was awe, shock. I think for him, it was just a much more surreal experience than you all.
And hey,
Perhaps he did have the front seat viewing angle.
He did.
and that's pretty high reaction coming from Aldrich to get him to react like that. You should be quite proud of yourself.
Indeed, we should ask him if he noticed any subtleties. Perhaps together we can debunk this mystery of how the trick was performed.
Should. I definitely delved a little bit more with him than the rest of you. Showed him a little extra something.
Oh, I see.
Added some color to those sparkles, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I do hear, what do they call it? Close magic tends to be much more stunning than faraway magic. It's harder to hide things, and thus the performance is all the more stunning.
Absolutely. And I do hope to showcase more as we go along our journey together.
That
Oh, you should
certainly
join
would be
me on
wonderful.
stage.
I would love to. I definitely can make you shine, but I feel like you do that enough as it is. We don't want to blind the audience now.
Yes, Eveline is quite at home on the stage between her wonderful singing and you enabling her to shine bright like a diamond. I'm sure the performance would be stunning.
I'm bright like a diamond.
I look forward to it. And Aldrich will get front seat. Of course.
Of course.
Just reserve, VIP. A whole
To be
special treat.
honest, he would.
Well, I mean-
away.
Exactly.
What was that?
he wouldn't have it any other way.
Oh, yes, especially after the performance he just saw. I'm sure he can't get enough of it now.
No, he would request to see it over and over again. It's so magical.
Over and over, round and round. Sparks everywhere.
Odric and Cyril Masters
You
return.
happy, Shiver, what you did?
A little bit. Odric would have heard every single word the coterie said in his absence. The Cyril Masters takes a place at his desk.
Punched.
And so, what have you decided to move forward with?
Well, Mr. Masters, we have decided to go with both options. As our coterie is more than capable of pulling at every thread that might lead us to our destination. Perhaps starting with a meeting with the lady herself. Then I'm sure you can arrange us a momentary membership, as you said, right? In the Brooks Club.
Arranging the membership for Brooks would take a mere week. A meeting with Lady Anne, much, much longer.
That important, huh?
She is the seneschal of the most important city in the world.
Right. Alright then. We shall await
Well,
our
that settles it.
invitation to the club. And hopefully in the meantime, the weeks following, I'm sure hopefully we can make headway to have something interesting to say when our meeting is arranged with Lady Bowsley.
He'll tap his silver-tipped cane on the floor as he says, I bet you will. Excellent, excellent. Where would you like me to send your invite to?
I have an establishment I'm sure you're aware of. They will have it waiting for me there.
Very well, sir. Your establishment, would that be of a medicinal kind?
Right. You've heard of it.
I make it something of a business of mine. I am no longer on active service, but knowing houses of ill repute has been quite favourable to me. With the revelation of Danvers that you have delivered to me this night, I may find myself in need of a new pharmacy.
Of course, our doors are open for you. I live to serve the clan, after all.
Tap his cane again on the floor. Excellent. Excellent. Then I shall bid you good evening. The sun is due to rise soon. I suggest you make your ways back to wherever you call haven.
Right. Till next time.
Good evening.
I'll curtsy.
I also
I'll give a
curtsy.
slight nod.
Spectre.
I nodded.
He'll get nods back and head out into the carriage. Is there anything you wish to discuss en route? Or would you like me to simply time skip forward a week? Well. 1 week later. Everyone, please do a rouse check for me. Nara, take your resolve or your composure, whichever is higher, and add it to your willpower tracker.
Okay, say that one more time.
Take your composure or your resolve, whichever is the higher of the two stats, and add that number to your willpower. But do not exceed your maximum willpower.
You're
True.
refreshing the stuff you used.
Oh, gotcha. It's
Sorry.
okay. It's okay. Totally not a newbie. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's fine. It's.
May I
you know,
use my herd?
Of course.
Mhm.
It is a little bit different going from playing with a physical sheet in front of you or to another system
Really
entirely to
is.
roll 20.
Yeah.
So it's fine. You're adapting really well.
Thank you.
Thank you for the new command, Nitro. Okay. Thurston, Aldrich, Grey, Eveline. Increase your hunger by 1. Eveline, you're making use of your herd. Various members of the coterie awaken for the night, and those that did not stay in the Whitechapel house have made their way there and gathered in the meeting room. A new chair has appeared at the table in place of Alistair's, bearing the mark of the Ravnos clan. The coterie make their way in, with Eveline keeping an ear out to ensure that she will be the last to enter. The coterie need to decide upon their actions for the night, and their line of questioning to lay upon de Camden. As they settle into their grand wooden chairs, they all notice that upon the table is a letter with a wax seal.
I will
Wow.
pick up the letter and read it.
I was gonna say all that can see it.
Touché. The letter reads, "The Ventru Primogen was most intrigued to hear about Danvers and has summarily executed him, with the prince's permission. Alas, though, I fear I may need to find myself a new source of medicine. However, the Primogen is pleased at the report, and I made sure to mention all your names in said report. Signed, Cyril Masters." And inside the letter will be invitations to Brooks and an address.
One for each of us.
Correct.
I will hand out the invitations.
What do we know about this club?
Yes, what kind of club is it?
Would we know anything about it, or we just know it's a secret Mithras thing? Or does it have like a front that we'd be aware of, or could have looked into in the week leading to it?
You would all know. Brooks is far from the most vocal of clubs, but its emphasis on history and continuity. It was founded in 1764 and encourages membership by successive members of the same family. This has made membership an attractive proposition for kindred and esteemed ghouls who, after absences of a decade or two, can pass themselves off as their own descendants.
That's right. Is this just one of those British things where it's a club just to be a club? I always think of a club having a thing, but don't you guys just have like the club just was a place to be a dandy, a fancy man?
Yeah.
Right? It's one of those?
Yeah.
Right. Do we know their stance on women?
It's not women's only, if that's what you mean.
Like, are they allowed?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Right. I think this is Eveline, where you shine. And now, how do you do in social situations?
I think I do quite well.
You have made a memorable impact on this little club in your short time with us, so I'm eager to see what you do to the rest of the poor folks. And just remember, Cyril said, we're trying to be discreet, right? Not draw attention to ourselves, find information, and keep the heat off of us. Don't know the last time we've done that successfully, so I'm quite nervous.
Oh, Aldrich, have some faith.
When he says that, I just kind of look over at Thurston.
What are you looking at me for?
What?
This
Just
is what
looking
I'm
around.
made for.
Well, then you should do wonderfully.
Exactly. Thank you, Evelyn, for such confidence.
I certainly expect our good friend Thurston here to be one of the most well-dressed at the soiree.
I always am.
And well behaved.
Does she dress well? Does she have expensive clothes, I should say?
That's
Yes.
the question you're going to ask a blind person? Not, how do you know when to stop wiping?
Oh, believe me, my helpers know how to put myself together in the way that I like.
Perfect. Alright, let us get in our appropriate attire, and I suppose visit this club. See what we can find out about Thomas Camden.
And you'll all be able to dress appropriately for Brooks. Head out.
I'll
to Whitechapel House.
invite Nara into my room to help brush her hair.
Yeah, bullshit. Sarah Lynn's going to do it, and you know it.
Yeah, but I'm inviting her in.
We're having a very delightful conversation in the meantime. Well, my hair is being brushed.
Girls hang out.
Yeah, girl talk. Girl talk. Matter of fact,
Girl-
I want to pick her mind about Aldrich. So what's the deal with him? His role here in this group.
So he's kind of our de facto leader in a way, but don't entirely trust him.
Oh, you don't?
He's
Why?
pulled the wool over our eyes before, so.
How so?
And some of the things that he does are pretty gruesome. It's you'll experience it in due time, but he's not always everything that he seems to be.
I see. Well, I feel like with our kind, not everyone is, are they?
True. But
And what about the inspector?
the inspector has a dark side. It's definitely something to look out for. He doesn't have as warm of a demeanor towards Kine, for example. Not as much as he used to.
Okay. And Thurston?
Oh, Thurston's harmless. He's adorable.
I agree.
Hey, harmless towards us. Sometimes he is able to get off a shot.
Yes, he was very helpful when we first met, and I greatly appreciate that. And what about yourself? How do you see yourself in this group?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm the one that brings sophistication and class.
I definitely get that vibe. I agree. I like you a lot. I like your style. I like your approach to things. I definitely feel like you and I would get along the most here.
Oh, yes, definitely. I am glad to have you along.
Me too. So who would you say that you connect the most with?
That's a hard question. Probably Aldrich, because he knows upper class, too.
Okay. He's also quite fun.
Quite fun? Yeah. I mean, he knows how to run a business. And makes a fair income off of said businesses.
So he says. He does seem to talk about that quite a bit, I've noticed. Talks himself up a lot, actually. I've noticed.
Yeah, that's just part of his personality.
I see.
But the money part is real. He even bought me the theater. Wait till you see it.
Yes, you've spoken quite a bit about that as well. I definitely look forward to going and assisting you in any performance that you may have. And hearing you sing, of course.
Oh, it'll be a treat.
And we're just continuing to get ready. And we'll meet back up with the others.
That's as close as we get to gossiping about boys.
Yeah.
And everyone heads out to the carriage. Is there anything you wish to discuss en route, or would you like to just arrive at Brooks? Excellent. Brooks lies just southwest of the city of London, near Southwark Bridge, and just slightly south of St. Paul's Cathedral that lingers over the club like an ominous, looming threat to the undead monsters. The carriage comes to a halt outside the old building that houses the club. They each exit the carriage and head inside, and are greeted at a desk by a kindly-faced woman. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Are you members?
We have a special invitation, and I hand mine over.
Ah, you are the guests of Mr. Masters, yes. You may enter into the lounge area only, but you may order drinks, food, and so forth. I believe you are here to see Mr. Camden. Please, proceed in and take a seat. The coterie...
He is currently here.
Mr. Camden? Of course.
Alright. Perfect.
Did you expect some kind of Machiavellian type plot to arrange to meet with someone that you'd already arranged to meet?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's usually how it happens.
What interesting people you are. The coterie walk into the grand lounge, finding the red paint warming. The gold-lined portraits of various heads of state over the years decorate the walls, and although there is a fireplace, it is not currently alight. There are only 2 people currently in the room, stood in private conversation with themselves. Each holds a glass of brandy. The coterie walk past the bar and places themselves in the leather seats in the middle of the room that surround a small wooden coffee table. Is there anything you wish to talk about while you wait?
I was not expecting just to run into him like this.
It's too easy.
Right. If Valerius has told us this was the one who is committing diableries, right?
Apparently.
Nara, I assume you can see auras.
In a way, yes.
Can you tell
would
if
be-
someone's committed diablerie?
That I cannot.
Thurston, have you picked up that trick?
I have not, no.
But
What was that?
You spent so much time with Alistair.
Well, I mean, yes, I guess. But I also spend a lot of time with the rest of you, and I do not assimilate your powers into myself.
Oh, try singing!
Are you sure you want to hear that?
No, right.
No.
We just got in this club. We do not need to be removed from it.
Oh, so unfortunate. I didn't know you sang as well.
Neither did I.
Alright. So we have a couple options here, right? We either get him to admit that he's committing these awful crimes. We convince him to exit this location with us, and we maybe get the answers out of him a different way.
I have
Or
a question, storyteller.
Yeah. Oh.
Is
Yes.
there a way with my premonition ability, if I were to touch him, would it activate something?
Show me premonition.
How do I do that?
There's a display button next to the power.
Yeah. That. Those are words that make sense.
Okay, 1 second. Doop. Display.
You'd get something.
Okay. So where is he currently now?
He is not in the room.
He's not here yet.
Oh.
We're strategizing. That always
Ah,
works.
okay. So then I will disclose that from a touch with an individual may trigger some clues.
Alright, we can start with that. A polite greeting, see what you can surmise about Mr. Camden. And, we have to play this one by ear. So we can't do anything without proof. The only way to get proof is catch him in the act. Which I suppose might also be a possibility, though. He's here in person. We could put a tail on him. See what he gets up to, where he goes.
Are any of you good at disguising yourselves? Hiding away in the
In
shadows?
theory, most of us are. But in
I'm
practice,
not. I don't need to be.
Thurston, perhaps you, in addition to you being quite make yourself unseen, you also can have the rats help you. Are you interested in trying to trail this individual?
Did you say rats?
Yes, I can speak
Quite
to
disgusting creatures.
many small creatures
I
around the
almost
city, and rats
forgot.
are the most abundant.
Just in case we get separated, he's gonna reach inside his shirt, pull out some bugs, roll out a little bit for Thurston, inspect it, you take a handful. You two should be alright. Unless...
I'm not taking.
I don't even know what it is.
Does Nera have pockets or like a bag or anything?
Yeah,
Dresses don't
she
have
has-
pockets in these day and ages. They're not going to have pockets back then.
but I have a.
Actually, they did. They was you tied. The dress itself didn't have pockets, but there's a thing that you tied because there's so many skirts and an underskirt. You actually tied your pockets on.
I will yield to your information as my knowledge of skirts is sorely lacking.
You have a bag as well?
Yes, I have a bag.
Yeah. Aldrich's just gonna reach in and just take like a pinch full of insects and quietly kind of put them in the bag.
Can I hear them? Are they making any sort of sound so I can get an idea of what exactly he's putting in?
I mean, you'll probably notice that. You'll probably notice that someone has slipped their fingers in your satchel.
Proud of you.
Oh.
Whichever.
What exactly was that?
I've placed something in your bag in case we get separated. They'll be able to inform me of any danger. But that's neither here nor there. On to Mr. Camden. Thurston, we'll have a discussion, see how it goes. And if it does not go well, you're in charge of trailing him. Right?
Right.
Actually, both of you can do it. Two are better than one. Just in case. Again, hopefully we get something out of him. Hopefully Nara here can discern something. And if not, Eveline, most charming person I know. You can't get him to trust us. Even if we can't get him to admit something now, perhaps we can at least honestly, we just need him to trust us. Maybe be our friend. Maybe start bringing us into the fold. Or if he doesn't admit something now, perhaps down the line he will.
Gray
I think
would
that's-
Gray would pat his pocket where he put the bugs. Yes, that sounds like quite a sound plan. Both Thurston and I should be capable of that. It's always good to have a backup or redundancy.
And if he is as powerful as I expect, the rats will be farther ahead so we can trail at a much farther distance.
Perfect. Nara, if you do sense anything, I have very, very good hearing, I'll say as I glance around to the group for a second. If there's anything concerning that you get from your reading, feel free to, you can whisper it to me and I will pick it up quite easily.
Will do.
I'll leave
Alright.
it to when Aldrich's done for another scene, but I'm gonna head outside, just see if I can locate some rats.
It's Victorian England. Do you have to go outside for rats?
Look under the couch.
Your biggest problem's going to be not being allowed back into the club.
Oh, why? I thought. Well, I'm gonna go out there and turn and.
He's gonna get his hand stamped before he leaves.
Well, and you can, Thurston, you can wait till we can have a discussion. But I'm saying when he, if the discussion after the discussion, just follow him.
I see.
Now we wait.
A slender man of average height glides in wearing a 3/4 length felt jacket, a white wraparound shirt and red silk tie and top hat. He strides over to the coterie, standing next to them, bows his head slightly as he takes his hat off. Greetings all. I understand you wanted to meet with me. I am Thomas Camden. And anyone with Sense the Unseen, please roll Sense the Unseen.
I will stand up and curtsy.
Camden shakes each of your hands and places himself in a leather seat in front of the coterie. Excellent. Nara and
I will
Gray. Sorry, Aldrich.
No, I was just praying that 4 is enough, or else we have 2 bestials right off the bat.
No, that's fine. And you will both notice the man has a strange, ghost-like aura about him, but doesn't have the signature black tendrils associated with Amaranth.
And we did touch hands, yes?
Yes. You want to do premonition?
Yes.
Please roll premonition. I'm assuming... No, never mind.
While she's bringing that up, if I remember correctly, it's 3 years for the aura to disappear?
1 year, I think it's 1 year for every generation or something, or is it 10 years for every
Gotcha,
generation?
okay.
Something insanely long.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nara, would you like to stick with that roll, or would you like to re-roll anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna
You
try
can
to.
roll 3 of those.
I can re-roll 3. Let's see.
Very nice. It's a shame you're going to hate the answer. Your vision is filled with visions of Camden's future, and all you can see is a Phrygian cap, a silver chalice, a bull's head.
And is Aldrich sitting close to me so I could be able to...
Aldrich would be sitting next to you, yeah.
Perfect. So I will just lean over and whisper what I was able to get.
How may I be of assistance to you all?
Good question.
We are, say, admirers of you. We are also up and coming members of our society, and I have heard many tales, many of our kind, and none quite as interesting as yours thus far. The dangers you have avoided, and the friends you've managed to make is quite impressive. We were told you were a good person to be in the good graces, we should say.
And who has told you such things?
It seems you're known by various members of the Camarilla. One person in particular who's quite interested in you. And we are here on, I don't want to say their behalf, right? They did lead us to you, but they may be a thorn in our side. Maybe a thorn in both of our sides. Are you... Well, I shouldn't say are you. I'm sure you're familiar with Valerius.
I am aware of the cursed name, yes.
Is that all?
What are you hinting at? Be forthright.
Forthright is what we were being, then sure, I can do that. You are suspected of being guilty of the Amaranth.
Huh. Amaranth. And who
Right.
on earth has pointed you in my direction for that?
More than one individual, actually. Your name has found itself on a list of official suspects.
Interesting. Is this a Camarilla list, I take it?
Difficult to tell, but you know our Victorian saying that we always say is guilty until proven innocent, so...
You, of course, realize if I wished to perform Amaranth, I could be sanctioned to do so very easily.
And have you been?
I have not.
That answers that.
You definitely look like a dapper, upstanding gentleman.
I dress with the times, as best I can. I admit I have dabbled in research on souls. Diablerie, though, is too brutal. The soul can
Research
be
on souls,
manipulated.
you say?
Indeed, yes.
Care to elaborate a little bit more?
Do you have any knowledge of necromancy?
A bit, yes.
The souls have potential. I've heard rumor even that some of cousins, I shall say, have learned how to manipulate souls, entrap them in stones, and use them to power devices for disgusting devices.
Nothing like feathers, but actual
Ah,
items that could be used.
you are quite learned on the subject, I see.
I do have a bit of a business with collecting certain oddities, if you will.
You collect the fetters?
I do. I give them a safe place to be if their soul's still attached. I do cleansings, and at times I will attempt to put those souls to rest if I can.
I see. And you have not been taught any necromancy rites to do this?
No.
then you are either highly talented naturally, or foolhardy and dabbling with things you can't understand.
Oh, I'm just a curious mind, really. And someone who adores history and stories and helping others.
Very interesting. I myself have an interest in history. It is, in fact, history that first drew me to his lordship Mithras. An intriguing history that spans before many great civilizations. A god, no less, walking among us. Death is something I dabble in, you could say. It is in my blood.
I'm curious. How did Mithras take such a liking to you? Seems to be a hard man to please or even get the notice of. You must possess some sort of great something.
Mithras recognizes greatness, and those who recognize his greatness. He rewards loyalty. The first step to knowing Mithras is a step into a mystery.
See. What would advice you would give to some young kindred who are hoping to follow a similar path? I quite intrigued by the mystery of Mithras.
If you are judged worthy of following the mystery, then you will be approached and asked to join. Perhaps one of you has already been asked and squandered
So
the
what
opportunity.
happens if that person declines?
Then they were not worthy.
Sounds a lot like religion.
It is. Except our God is real, tangible. He is as merciful and benevolent as he is wrathful and forceful.
Are you interested then? We are interested in helping you clear up this Amaranth confusion.
I care not for lies. Do you really believe that you could offer me sanctuary? Assistance? Who
Oh,
are
no,
you?
we just wish to help you clear your name. That's all.
You don't care about your reputation?
Pizzle. All that matters to me is the worship of our Lord. He has and will continue to keep me, this entire city, even yourselves, safe.
And you don't want to make it easier on him to keep you safe?
What could possibly assist a god?
You're not worried about becoming a burden?
Never. And if I were to become a burden, Mithras would inform me, and he would justly excise me like a cancer or tumor.
So don't you want to put these rumors to rest?
Care not for rumours. Rumours follow in my wake. Rumours follow in everyone's wake. What do you propose?
Perhaps some sort of evidence word or even helping us find the person who is responsible for the Amaranth. That way your name is cleared and the Ivory Tower stops looking for you, Valerius stops looking for you, and maybe even the Giovanni stop looking for you.
Giovanni will.
And the person who is doing this is brought to justice.
Right. Quite an embarrassment.
It sounds an awful lot
Mithras
like
is-
you want me to do your job for you. Are you not capable of the task you have been assigned?
Just you, in all your God's glory, just point us in the right direction is all we really ask. I find it a bit embarrassing that something like this is going on underneath his domain.
Have you looked at who's been pointing the fingers at me? What better way to draw your attention than moving your eyes away from the actual target?
I
Of
do
course there
believe
are
we are.
suspects.
Who stands to gain the most? Have you found the motivation for these crimes?
I mean, the motivation seems quite self-serving, right? There's power to be gained by doing this sort of thing. Now, I've yet to meet one of our kind that is not interested in taking a shortcut to power.
You look at things in such two-dimensional ways. You, of all people, should understand vices. Once you have supped from a kindred's heart, taken their soul into yours, it's not something you can just drop lightly. Many will do anything to feel that rush once more. It has nothing to do with power. The only pleasure we can feel in this world is when we feed. There is no pleasure greater than when we feed on the soul of another kindred.
It sounds like you speak from experience.
I was
I
just
have
about
been-
to say the same.
I have been in existence a very, very long time. I have seen kindred succumb to this addiction many times over. Amaranth is not without risk, and it is thus why Amaranth is banned.
I, of course, believe you. Let us hope the others do as well, by simply taking your word for it.
You'll find that a word from me is worth very, very much in kindred society.
Not enough to keep you off the list, but yes. I see the power of your words. Something did strike me, though, about, like you said, finding this motivation, this talk of souls and rush of life. That sounded a bit like our friend here. Gesture towards Nara. You said yourself she seems to be a bit of a prodigy in this field, that I assume you've spent lifetime studying.
Several.
Also, from what I understand, are you one of the few in the city who has this area of expertise?
Possibly the only.
Do you not wish to share in this, or perhaps find someone else worthy to give you perhaps perspective where you did not have it?
I'll share my secrets if you share yours.
I'm not talking about myself. I think perhaps you could have quite the student, Miss Nara here.
I am definitely willing to learn. As much as I am willing to teach as well. Although, I feel as though you may know quite a bit more than I do. But nonetheless, I can assist you in as much way as I possibly can.
I shall consider you. At the very least, to prevent some sort of terrible accident. I had heard stories from the New World of a necromancer. He stored spirits in some kind of device. Some kind of environmental officer destroyed the device and released the spirits. As I understand it, the environmental officer lacked genitals.
Come again?
Ghostbusters reference.
That is a
Oh, I
reference
should
you
have
were
got
missing.
that. I should
This
have got
man
that.
has no dick.
Mhm.
This device that you keep speaking of, do you know any more details on it? Its structure, what does it look like? How does it function? Anything?
Is of no interest to me. I prefer traditional, reliable methods that cannot be interfered with. Cleansing spirits, possessing spirits, instructing spirits. Spirits are not something you should dabble in lightly.
I agree. I also value the traditional way, which is why I'm quite surprised there is a device that can do such a thing. That's not something I've encountered.
The world is constantly trying to put itself on the edge of technology. But why? Why fix something that isn't broken?
This is true. But is this device something that we should be concerned about? You did say it released spirits, correct? Into this world?
Spirits are rarely any trouble for our kind. They possess buildings, objects. They trouble mortals more than us. Our paths should rarely cross, and our agendas even rarer. Unless you go looking for them.
I do worry a bit for the mortals themselves. But I do agree not all spirits are harmful. I'm just curious if there is something we should be concerned about here. But if you don't seem concerned yourself, perhaps it's not something we should mind.
Perhaps it isn't real. Perhaps this is just a parlor trick like a seance. A little knocking underneath the table.
You are free to believe whatever you wish to, madam.
Right then. I apologize for inconveniencing you, but you understand that we are not do not appreciate the same privilege you do, so we have to follow up on the things we are tasked with.
It is a pleasure to meet those new to this Camarilla. I see the
Pleasure
time
to
is
meet you
fleeting, though,
in the flesh.
and a pleasure to meet you. Sunrise approaches soon. I must take my leave.
Very well.
Good evening, all. And as
Curtsy
he
again. Good evening.
passes by Nara, she'll notice that. I'm trying to think of something that doesn't sound wrong just to say. He will pass her a card.
Is this like a stealthy pass that's just between him and I just
Yes.
tuck it away subtly? Yes. I will tuck it away subtly.
Not like she's going to be able to read it.
I was thinking the same thing.
Again, you're welcome to whatever opinion you wish.
I have people.
Fucking simps, yeah. Would you like to leave and head to the carriage?
Does anyone
Only
want to
really-
put any bugs or rats on him?
Right, all we really got out of that was he just told us to blame Valerius. Of course would suspect him already.
I do find it quite strange, though, the rhetoric he was spouting about diablerie and it being the most delicious form of vitae we can, or well, of anything we can extract from kindred, is very similar to the man from last week.
I do think we should still follow him. Though sun
do too.
approaches, I think we should put some animals on it.
But
Follow
you
him
see-
and
That he may have been studying this for quite a while. Perhaps personal accounts. He might actually know those who have. And if we do follow, he might lead us to others. And perhaps we may find a trail that way.
I do agree. Alright, let's get some spies on it and then see if Miss Bowsley is. Well, Miss Bowsley was a way to get to him, so I guess we don't need to speak to her now. Oh, I still think it's worth a meeting. Alright. I'll try to go whisper to some rats. I may join you, actually. More is always better.
Yeah, I'm gonna, since we're stopped or whatever, I'm gonna stop and cast Feral Whispers. Spell that.
Browse check.
May I do the same? Just so we can double
course.
up on the rats we're bringing in.
You both can do that?
Mm-hmm.
Can't
Oh
talk to
my.
rats?
I guess you guys are never lonely, huh?
We got some Wilburs up in here.
Ugh, rats. Disgusting foul creatures.
What are the instructions for these rats then?
To follow the gentleman that just left the club. I
know.
figure he's not far enough away. Yeah. God.
Oh, Willard.
The rats will start to scatter off round. One of them stands on its hind legs and does like this to you and scampers off.
Just because I can. I'm also gonna release some of the bugs to do this, because they might be able to get into places that even rats can't.
You'll do, and yeah, the same thing will happen. You'll have the rats scamper off. One of them give you a little salute, and you can sort of swear it is. Yes, Mr. Eldrick, sir.
Alright, we've got rats on it. I've got some bugs crawling around there. I'm gonna do one last thing. Inspector, do you mind making sure I get to my room?
Very well. If needed, I can escort you to your room.
I need you to tap dance a bit on the streets for me because I'm a bad person and forgot something before you step into your carriage.
Also, trusting you to guard me if anyone were to attempt any harm or anything that would embarrass my person. I'm sure you will not allow that to happen.
Very well. I will stand sentinel.
Just make sure I get tucked in and don't let anyone mess with me. Alice isn't around, so hopefully this will be safe. Although I'll wait to see what Shiv's gotta do.
Please.
While we wait, we could go feeding.
No.
Yeah.
No?
No.
Okay. Never
Hey.
mind.
It's gonna happen before then.
Right. Okay. Hopefully this bloody works. As you step out of the old building onto the quiet streets of London, the horses' breathing and footsteps of the coterie is all you can hear over the distant sounds of life leaking over the city from the busy East End. As you are about to step into the carriage, a strange, loud noise fills the night. And lights from nearly every house suddenly light up. The sounds of people shouting and springing out of bed suddenly awake come from all around you. Everyone with Sense the Unseen, please roll Sense the Unseen for me.
Is this the invention of Dolby surround sound?
That must be it.
Fucking made that noise, screw you.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like that, though.
Sony, give me money.
If it weren't,
Don't give me any of your fucking shitty headphones that I have to pay hundreds of dollars for and break after 9 months, you cunt.
Just a moment. I think I need to close my character sheet and reopen it.
If it weren't for the fact that it's 1892, I could have swore the city just got EMP'd.
It just kind of sounds like an EMP sound.
Aliens.
It's a good thing the carriage has got flare guns inside it, Thurston.
We're gonna take them flare guns and do something really stupid.
What are these rolls?
Inari, you're fine.
I did not do that second one, so I
I
don't
will-
know.
Yeah,
Nari, you're fine,
willpower.
and the roll worked as well.
And do I need to willpower?
You can re-roll 3 if you'd like, Grey, otherwise you're going to go to the beast.
Yeah,
Or I can give you,
reroll
or I can
3.
give you success at cost.
Already got the beast.
I'll try this first, and then we'll see.
Would you like success at cost?
Yes.
I love how everyone goes along with it. Yes.
Nara and Inspector Grey turn their heads to the source of the explosion, the strange boom. Nara is easily able to see a stream of white fog bursting out of a building in Newington. The fog is leaking into the sky and coming down slowly over the river, and slowly covering the entirety of Southwark and the Thames, from Blackfriars Bridge to Southwark Bridge, in a blanket of thick fog. The fog slowly thickens so that even those without the vampiric eye can see it with their normal eyes, and cannot see where the fog is leaking out from, however. Inspector Grey is determined to see something there, as he knows there is something there. The beast crawls out inside of him, screaming and clawing at him, urging him to give in to his bestial nature. He is able to suppress it and keep it pinned down. Unfortunately, he is also reminded that he is still an undead parasite, and reflects upon his lost wife, his lost life, and his loss of humanity. Take a humanity stain, please.
I will.
Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh no, you go.
I was going to
So
say...
we've got fog around us now?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's an unseen one.
You've
This
got,
is starting to sound like the mist, almost.
you've got
Yeah.
fog in front of you across the river, because you're on one side of the river, near the city of London. Fog is on the other side of the river and covering the river. The two nearest it's between the two nearest bridges to you to cross over. The building where you can see the fog shooting out from is over these two bridges.
Yeah, I will let them know, like, the source, since no one else could see that. Is there anything else unique about the fog?
You
This
should
bloody
ask the
fog
coterie.
again.
Again? Does this happen
How
before?
many times have we run into Fog is never a good sign. And London is bloody foggy enough.
Yeah,
Terrible
see,
things
there's
lurk in the
time-
fog.
There's the time with the rats, and then the time with the gang members,
And then Santa
then-
Claus.
and Santa Claus, yes.
How many horses have we lost to the fog?
Oh,
You,
fog,
you have no idea how many. It really cuts into my profits.
You are all so unique individuals.
Everyone protect the horses.
I feel like since encountering you all, this world has become so much more lively.
We have that effect on people.
Interesting is not always a good thing.
But either way, we need to get going. I don't want to be caught in this. Or should we go to the source of it? We've never seen a source of it before.
You want to go through the bloody fog?
Yes.
Well, we usually.
Well, I mean, if this keeps happening,
Right, this is the first time we've had a source.
is this a warning sign? Does something normally go wrong when this fog approaches? Perhaps there's someone causing it.
Usually,
To
nine
warn.
times out of 10.
What was that?
Yes, the fog seems to be living.
Living how so?
I'm heading that direction. I'm gonna. Are we able to find the carriage? Wait, has the fog actually settled
not
on
in
us, or
fog.
is this like an unseen?
You're not. You can see the fog like a wall. Over
It's on the other
Thames
side of the
in front
river.
of you.
I'm actually going to link with Aldrich because I am curious as well.
I'm going to go after the source of the fog too. And
So
I
it's
think I'm
Well,
I think I'm also going to activate heightened senses to just heighten my senses and my unseen sight and all that stuff.
Shouldn't we take the carriage?
Yeah, I'm heading in the carriage.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And on that cliffhanger, we'll call it a night or day, whichever's most appropriate. First of
The
all,
end of the night. We're calling it a night.
it's the middle of the day here. Thank you all for coming and watching. Thank you, Fangs of New York, for raiding in. We shall go around. Thurston, who are you?
yes.
What do you do? Do you do things? Let's find out.
I am practically everywhere at Nitro Type at. Got it on my first try that time. I don't have anything going on myself, other than at the end of the month, which I figure Shiv will end up covering. But we are currently working on a play-by-post area of our Discord server, and we are sending out invites for people to join once we reach 400 followers here on Twitch, which we are ever so close to getting to. So if you aren't followed, follow. If you aren't in the Discord, check out the link below. And if you have any other friends that want to get in on play-by-post stuff, then send them over here and tell them to follow too.
Inspector Gray, who are you? What do you do? Do you do things? Let's find out.
I am Nascavian. I play Vampire the Masquerade with Table of Horrors on Thursdays. I hang out in Discord just at me so I know to respond and look for it. And I've been playing New World. That's about it.
Eveline, who are you? What do you do? Do you do things? Let's find out.
I am Ms. Hearts. You can find me just about anywhere, Twitch, Twitter, etc. as Ms. Hearts. I am also a new member of the Bat City Bombshells Burlesque, and we are having our Halloween show, Tits or Treats, on October 29th at the Sterling Event Center in Austin. It's live only, will not be streamed, so you actually have to come to Austin and get tickets. After that, I will also be hosting the Homes for the Holidays benefit show for Accessible Housing Austin, which provides housing for people with disabilities. And if you need any... Oh! And... if you need any graphic designer promotional products, go to gibopromo.com. I was also interviewed earlier this week for that, and you can find me on Biz TV tomorrow at 1 p.m. and 7 p.m.
Aldrich, who are you? What do you do? Do you do things? Let's find out.
I'm Bully. I do things over at Table Goth, which I'm supposed to do, but what do I actually do for that? Our Cult Chronicles. We're recording those. Those should be coming out in sometime in the distant future. We have stuff on YouTube. I'm going to be in person at PAX Unplugged. If people wind up in Philadelphia for that, I will run games for you. Storyteller's Fault. We're making a player's guide. That'll be out. Fingers crossed. That's what's consuming all of my time right now. And then at the end of this month, I'll be here a lot during Halloween week. Being a ghost, being a demon, being me.
He says, what does he do for Table Goth? And it's like, prolific, amazing quality games is what you do.
Won't have time.
That's a feeling. And saving my favourite for last. Nara, who are you? What do you do? Do you do things? Let's find out.
Hi, I am Ash Daniels. I am the lover and mistress of the arts. You can find me on Shapeshifter, as Shapeshifter on social media, and as Jacqueline Deary on Prince William by Night, Season 2, Night Shift, with the Dark Druid Productions. Shout out to everyone there. And I just also want to say thank you so much to everyone here. I'm so happy to play with these amazing players, and just the stuff that you guys do is awesome.
We're also going to be breaking Nitro's legs, because for the third time, he still hasn't added Dark Druid Productions, which is twitch.tv/DRK Druid Productions.
Oh no, I just got to it.
Thank you. And coming up, oh fuck me, in like 11 days?
Oh, God.
Yes.
Kill me. 11 days.
A week from Monday.
Oh, don't say that. Don't. At least 11 days is
I'm
double
sorry.
figures. We're doing our Halloween week. Starting off, Monday the 25th, if I'm in a state of consciousness, because it's just after my second Pfizer shot, with Demon, the Fallen, which is going to have the sexy beast known as Aldrich. That didn't tap dance long enough for me. Chastity joining in about halfway through, and Cassandra, possibly another mystery guest as well, yet to be confirmed. Then again, I haven't finished writing the fucking game yet. Day after that, on the 26th, is Wraith, which I had a nightmare writing already yesterday. Thank you, PC, for crashing. Which is going to have the lovely Ash, Astrid, Canadian Syrup, and Eveline. And Bully. How could I forget that? Darkest House on Wednesday, 27th. Being run by lovely Miss Hutz. Do you know who you've got in that?
I have Nitro and Noskavian, and I think Tina. Last I checked, he said he was still doing it.
Thursday,
Which means
28th.
I have room for one more player.
Thursday, the 28th. Mystery game of something, maybe not TTRPG, maybe TTRPG. It's a mystery. It wouldn't be a mystery if we knew what it was. Now, in hindsight, I should have had a Star Trek game prepared for that. Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
One less thing to write.
Mm-hmm. Day after that, on the Friday, it's Oxford by Night's Halloween special, with the usual cast from Oxford by Night. Day after that, Lancer, Saturday the 30th. Nitro, GMing. Who have you got for that, Nitro?
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. I am GMing, and I have Shiv, my two very best friends, Sam and Dan, and a good friend of mine, Andy, with us. So that should be a lot of fun.
And then the day after that, on Halloween itself, if I'm alive, we'll be doing Homeworld, the upcoming TTRPG from Modiphius, early release, which is going to have Eris from Relay, Silence, formerly known as Kalo, Commander Llama, Dead Western, Thurston, and myself, storytelling. It's literally the only one that's ready to go. Tomorrow? Fuck. Tomorrow we're doing Oxford by Night. Starts an hour earlier than this. Please tune in, as it's setting up for the Halloween game. I think that's everything. Jesus Christ. We're not doing this again next year. I'm making them all play 8 hours again next year. That's easier. We'll go.
It's all your idea.
I know. We'll go raiding over on Soul Citizens. But we can't go, of course, until the fabulous top 0.01% of OnlyFans producers, Inspector Grey, sets the line.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!